Lads, we'll start with the two boys. Bradman first. I guess what an Origin debut.
Outstanding, yeah. I was very nervous watching the game as a coach, but very proud. I'm proud of both of them. I guess the flack that Brady copped earlier in the week, I reckon he shut a few up. So, and I thought Jacob was outstanding too. His work rate, and he had them looking for him. He was nice and aggressive and played his role. So yeah, happy for both of them.
I imagine, all that talk of like surprise that Bradman was there. Do you think he probably thrived about that and he's like, I'm going to prove a point here?
Yeah, I don't think I know. That's Brady to a T. He as soon as it became a bit personal, which it did, I think as soon as that happened, that's when he's at his best.
And Jacob, he did a lot of work in the middle there. And you imagine both those boys will back up tomorrow night?
Both indicated they had very quiet nights in bed early. So, look, all the correspondence so far, Bradman's here now and so's Jake. They're just doing some recovery. They'll get a massage. I'll sit down with those guys and along with the medical crew and see where they're at. We've got all the numbers, the GPS numbers that have come through from the game. So we'll make a calculated decision on it. Part of me wants, Bradman's in a bit of a purple patch. He's 5 tries in 2 weeks of footy. So, and they tell me that it's easier to back up from Origin 2 days as opposed to 4 days. So, we don't have to make a decision right now, but like I said, we'll make a real educated one.
You hope that Bradman's confidence can rub off on the players when he comes back here now and have a nice run back to the finals?
Yeah, I think the playing group are confident. We're united in the belief that we can play finals. I think getting it, once we're in there, we'd be a dangerous team to play against. We understand that. Our best footy has held up this year against, the top teams. The hard part's getting ourselves in there. So we understand that starting Friday, there's no more important game than Friday night. But, I think the playing group are confident that we can do that. I don't think they need Bradman to come back. To answer your question, I think Bradman's confidence will only trend upwards now.
Bradman's only 21. You said earlier in the year it's easy to forget his age sometimes.
Yep.
How much maturity have you seen from him in the past year?
This year's been outstanding. I think, obviously I hate going back to the bus thing, but, it was a chance for him to learn, and that's what he did. He not only learn, but he's gotten better. His summer was outstanding. I think he's a real good example to everyone that, young blokes will make silly errors. I think I said this before, they'll make silly errors, but provided they have the right mindset to, number one, ownership of the error, but you can get better from it, and he's a great example. What he did over the summer he's reaping the rewards of a really strong summer.
Just on Jacob, I think Freddie said the other day that him and Daniel need to kind of up the ante at club level consistently.
Yep.
If they're going to be regular Origin players. What have you made of their campaigns this year? Are you happy with their consistency?
Yeah, look, I think both have been patchy. They'll be the first to admit that in terms of, Jake missed 5 weeks with the suspension after the Tigers game in round 2. So that certainly affected him. I think he's back to his best. Obviously, otherwise he wouldn't have got selected for the Blues. And I think Daniel's been struggling with a bit of a sternum injury for quite some time. It's the best it's been, so I'm expecting a really big game from him. So, I think their best has been really good this year, but they'd be the first to admit they've been a little bit patchy at times.
How important is it to keep Jacob and Bradman here? I think they've got, 4 months or something, and they can start talking to other clubs. How important is it to sort of lock them up before that process happens?
So they've got till November, is that right?
I think so.
Yeah. Again, favourite topic's recruitment. It's vital. They're local blokes. They're performing well. They're both current Blues. Yeah, vital to the experience of our squad, but it's not my department.
Go on. Coming back to this week, what kind of week has it been in terms of your preparation for Friday?
Been excellent, actually. The boys have been great. Normally, sometimes after a bye, you can be a little bit rusty on your first session, and we didn't have that this week. The guys have been really good. We understand, really happy with what happened against the Dogs a couple of weeks ago, but it's over, it's finished. We need to start again, go back to the drawing board and recreate Friday night. So the boys are really aware of that.
And what do you think you need to execute against the Tigers in order to get the win?
Big thing was what I just spoke about. It's important that we don't want to jump back into that feeling of 66-0. We've got to go and recreate it. We've got to start well, build pressure, respect the opposition.
Speaking of the bye, this one just gone to your last of the season. Are you kind of confident you'll be able to pull through? I think it's your longest run this season without another bye.
Yep.
Happy with where everyone is physically and that they'll be able to actually like handle the week in, week out?
Yep. The fortunate thing, we've got 8 games, 5 of them at home. We've got a run of 7-day turnarounds back to back, so you get a consistent training block. That allows you to make better decisions. You can rest guys from sessions if we are a little bit jaded. At the moment, it's the healthiest we've been in my time here for this point of the season. And I think we went 9 weeks before our first one, and that's why we gave them the longer barley break. And then we've had 2 really close ones. So, look, they've had enough rest. We're right to go. But we can always make decisions down the timeline where we can freshen them up a bit.
Adam, Caelan's 100th game for the club. How much will that mean to the other players? How much will that lift them?
Yeah, really important. You want to make your teammates' milestone really memorable. So everyone plays a part in that, including me, making sure that we prepare well. But you're right, the playing group, it's significant. 100 games for the club. He's co-captain with Tyson. The boys will want to make sure. Like Friday night footy at home, we don't get a lot of them. We want to make sure it's a really memorable occasion for Caelan and the team.
And 100 games, he's now been in the NRL 7 years, I think. How much better can he get? He hasn't played his best football yet, has he? Yeah,
I don't believe he's reached his ceiling. I think he's played some high-quality footy, especially of late. But yeah, I just think that guys like him will continually strive for improvement in their game. And like I said, I don't think he's anywhere near his ceiling yet.
Now, what does he have to do to get better?
Continue on the trajectory that he is at the moment. He's training, and this hasn't just been since he moved back to fullback. I think he's another example, very similar to Bradman, what he did over the summer. I think he had a week off, and that was it. He come back in and trained. So he's a healthy body, but big thing for Caelan is his determination. He's a very determined young man, and that's half the battle. If you want to get better, that's the first part of it.
Back to Bradman, he's only 21. He's had an outstanding Origin debut. Do you see him as someone who can become, a long-term Origin player, maybe play 20 or 30 Origins for New South Wales? Or?
Yeah, I'd like to see that. I think great example of coming through their junior pathways. I know, you've got guys like Latrell as a left centre and stuff like that, but, you can only judge him on what he delivered in his game last night, and that's a pretty good one. That's a good start.
Expecting for the Tigers, they're on a run of 5 losses, I think.
Yeah, I think they'll be desperate. It's a proud footy club. They've been copping a fair bit of feedback. They bring Appy back into the team. I think will give them some confidence. Certainly a dangerous team with the ball. So I don't think their game against the Sharks. I don't think the scoreline really captured probably how well the Tigers played that night. So yeah, we're under no illusion that they'll come here ready to play.
And a big Clem coming back here for the first time. Must have been a tough decision last year when you guys sort of let him go. But the way your middle forwards have aimed up this year, you must be pretty happy about that. I mean, you've only sort of had 4 or 5 guys, and yet they've done the job pretty well. Yeah,
look, hard guy to replace. He's an international forward. Not only David, Chloe and the kids are a big part of the club for a long time, and a lot of our guys have, used to look to Clem for guidance or, some advice on preparation. So he's a real important part of our club, not just only in the 80-minute game, but yeah, I think you're right. The guys that have, tried to fill the void have done a pretty good job this year. So I'm sure David, I know what he's like. He prepares for every game, but I reckon this one will be just that little bit more special coming back to Newcastle. He'll want to play well.